Hi. Anyone know me? Focus a little. Yes, I am a carbon atom. I am a chemical element with the symbol C. I have 6 electrons, 2 in the inner shell, and 4 of them in the outer shell. That's why my atomic number is 6. I have inside my nucleus 6 protons and 6 neutrons. That's why my mass number is 12. And it can be more, 13 or 14, they are my brothers or isotopes. They are very important, although they are present in a small percentage. We will talk about them later. Let me tell you about myself first. I am an element in the periodic table, found in the second period and at the top of group 14. I cannot live alone because in this case I am unstable. In order to be stable, I have to complete my outer shell by 8 electrons. That is why I participate with my electrons in covalent bonds with other atoms, either from carbon or other elements. I am also an essential part of the formation of living beings such as humans. I am the second most abundant element in the human body after oxygen, and the 4th most abundant element on planet Earth. So, I can tell you more about me and introduce my importance and my different roles in life. If you search for me in nature, you will not find me present alone. You will always find me bonded to other atoms with such a form of natural products. Some of them are solid forms such as coal, diamonds, and graphite, and liquid forms such as oils, petroleum, and alcohols, while some are gaseous forms like carbon mono and dioxide and natural gas. Other than millions of industrial derivatives that we will talk about later, with regard to the physical properties. Of course, it differs according to my forms, as I told you. For example, the density of graphite is different from the density of diamond. Also, my heat capacity ranges between 6–10 joules per mole at room temperature, and this is what shows my ability to store energy. That is why I am an essential part of the molecule adenosine triphosphate, ATP, which is considered the most important energy carrier of the human body and all living organisms. For the rest of the physical properties, it varies from one compound to another. For example, diamond is considered a transparent, solid and poor conductor of electric current. Unlike graphite, it is a black material that is easy to break apart, but it is a good electrical conductor. And in most of compounds, I am a good sound and heat transmitter. For example, coal and petroleum materials. Now, how can I be produced or extracted from nature? This depends on my form. For example, solid materials such as graphite, diamonds and coal are extracted by mining from the mines. I am also present in large quantities in the form of carbonate rocks, such as limestone, marble and others. As for my liquid forms, some of them are extracted from the ground with oil and its derivatives, and some are extracted from plants and living organisms with oils, fats, sugars, alcohols, and others. As for my gaseous forms, for example, carbon dioxide is obtained from atmosphere and from industrial sources that burn fuel, coal and wood, which are important sources of carbon. And when burned, carbon combines with oxygen and turns into carbon dioxide through the following oxidation reaction. C plus O2 gives CO2. It also results from the burning of lime when it is heated to high temperatures. Through the following reaction, CaCO3 plus heat gives CaO plus CO2. As for methane, it is obtained from nature from fossil fuels and from swamps, and it is also found in huge quantities in the form of methane hydrates in the deep sea. It is also produced from agricultural activities, as it is one of the most important emissions resulting from the digestion process in animals and livestock. All the diversity that you saw in my shapes and forms, and more than that, is due to my chemical properties. As you know, I have 6 electrons. My electron configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Some write it according to the nearest inert gas, helium, 2s2, 2p2. You will notice from my electronic distribution that I have 4 electrons in the outer shell, and therefore I have the ability to lose them in order to become more stable as the nearest inert gas, which is helium. Or gain 4 other electrons as well, and turn to the nearest inert gas, which is neon. This is what makes me have different oxidation states in my compounds, from -4 to +4, depending on the electronegativity of the attached atom. For example, my oxidation state is +4 in carbonate compounds, +2 in carbon monoxide, and -1 in carbide compounds such as tungsten carbide, which used as an sinter-demery, and -4 in some organic compounds as methane. I always tend to gain electrons and get a reduction process. That is why I consider it as nonmetal. But I have good reductive properties, means that I can be oxidized and reduce other materials. For example, I can reduce metal oxides at high temperatures, so you find me a part of iron and steel industry, because I can reduce iron oxides and turn them into raw iron according to the following reaction. Fe3O4 plus 4C gives 3Fe plus 4CO. That's why you will find me in billions of chemical compounds that you see in your life, the most important of which are organic compounds. I am the basis of organic chemistry. For example, with hydrogen, I can form millions of hydrocarbon compounds, which are the basis of petroleum and natural gases. I have the advantage that I can form 4 single bonds at the same time, such as methane, and can form double bonds, such as ethylene, and triple bonds, such as acetylene. Also form cyclic compounds with many different shapes, sizes and properties, the most famous of which are aromatic benzene compound. I can also bind with other carbon atoms to form long carbon chains, whether straight or branched, so that they form millions of organic compounds, the most famous of which are the various petroleum materials with diesel, kerosene, diesel, asphalt, and others. In addition to all of these compounds, I can also form more of them with different elements, including oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and others. For example, with oxygen, I can form important families of compounds with oils, acids, alcohols, and esters, and cyclic families such as compounds of steroids that are an essential part in the formation of hormones and stimulants. Terpenes, which are the main component of essential oils, and also the most important oxygenated compounds of carbohydrates and sugar. I can also form compounds that contain more than one element, the most famous of which are amides as urea, and amino acids that are the basis for building proteins in the human body and living organisms. Basic nucleoside compounds that are included in the formation of DNA, RNA. Also polymers that enter into many industries and products such as plastics, paints, detergents, cosmetics, and others. All the previous were organic compounds. I can also form millions of inorganic compounds including sulfides, cyanates, carbonate salts, bicarbonates, freons, and others. Among the most famous inorganic compound is carbon dioxide. Also can form millions of organometallic compounds. These are compounds that contain at least one bond between a carbon atom and an organic compound with a metal, such as the ferrocene compound that preserves iron in the human body. Now let me tell you about my isotopes and their importance. I have more than 15 isotopes, the most famous of which are the 2 known isotopes, carbon-13 and carbon-14. The difference between me and them is the difference in the number of neutrons inside the nucleus. I have 6 neutrons inside the nucleus, and they have 7 and 8 neutrons inside the nucleus. But the number of electrons and protons we have is equal. Me, carbon-12, present in nature at a rate of 98.9%, while carbon-13 is present at a rate of 1.1% and used in nuclear magnetic resonance, NMR, experiments, which is used to identify the form of bonding between carbon atom and atoms in organic compounds. As for the carbon-14 isotope, it is a radioactive isotope, and it is present in rare quantities on the surface of the Earth, and it is used in the field of estimating the age of carbonaceous materials that have ages of about 40,000 years and more, using the radiocarbon dating technique. Of course, after all that I told you, you should know my uses and importance in life. I have many applications that I can't even count for you, and we mentioned a lot of them before. Other applications in the field of medicines, drugs, and even medical supplies. I am an essential element in the manufacture of bombs, explosives, weapons and tools of war. I am also included in the composition of foodstuffs, building materials, and pesticides. I considered also an essential part for the formation of nanomaterials that are used in the manufacture of mobiles and various technology tools, etc. And when you use me, you must wear all your personal protection equipments in order to avoid my risks. I have extremely low toxicity to humans and can be handled safely in the form of graphite or charcoal, and also found in charcoal or graphite tablets that are taken as a treatment the acidic contents of the digestive tract. Despite this, inhaling me is very dangerous, causes irritation to the lung tissues and lung diseases. This can be seen in coal miners. Similarly, inhaling dust from diamond industrial equipment. In addition to this, the particles resulting from the exhausts of cars and factories accumulate in the lungs, resulting in various lung diseases. As for other organisms, I am mostly considered safe, but for some organisms I can be toxic. For example, my nanoparticles could be deadly to a type of fruit fly called Drosophila. As for the compounds derived from me, the degrees of toxicity vary. Some of them can be safe and you can eat them too, like sugar. And some can be toxic and deadly like pesticides. Therefore, I advise you before you use any compound, you must read and know its dangers first, and know how to protect yourself well before you use it. The last thing I will talk to you about is combustion. I burn and glow in the presence of air oxygen at high temperatures. And this is what you can notice in coal. To the extent that large gatherings of coal, which remain inactive for many years due to the lack of oxygen, can self-combust when they are suddenly exposed to air, as happens in piles of coal mine waste. My burning helps you in many things, such as heating and cooking food, and I am a source of heat and also energy in many industries. At the end of this video, I hope I was able to tell you even a small part of my importance and role in life. Where God created me, like other creatures, to serve man. Therefore, you are the one who uses me to do useful things that benefit you and all people. And also you are the one with your hands who uses me to do harmful things that harm you and harm those around you. Bye.